banana bread, you're going to need 4 tablespoons of milk and 200 grams of butter. I've got it already cubed here. You're going to need 4 eggs as well, which I've got in here. And your dry ingredients, which is 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 350 grams of caster sugar, and then 450 grams of self-raising flour, and then 4 bananas. I've already mashed mine. So first off, you need to get a loaf tin and then grease it with some sunflower oil. And using a paper towel, just go around the edges and make sure that it won't stick in the tin. Okay, so we're going to start doing the mix. So I've got my dry ingredients and I'm just going to mix them together with this wooden spoon, just because I haven't mixed them already. You can't be too forceful with it, or else the flour will go everywhere.
Like that.
Like so. So now we need to add our wet ingredients into it. So I am going to add the butter and the milk in a second, but then you put in our pre-mashed bananas, which looks kind of gross. So let's just make sure that they're mashed and just chuck them in. I'm not going to use our electric whip mixer until we've added all the ingredients. So, as you can probably tell, the bananas aren't fully mashed, but that doesn't really make much difference because when you're mixing them, it will combine and not be chunky. But you still need to mash it, or else it will be chunky and not very nice because you get banana lumps after it's baked. Later on, when I add the butter, you also need to make sure you get rid of those chunks as well, or else you're just going to get these really greasy spots in your loaf. That looks good. I know it isn't fully mixed, but it will be soon. So now I think I'm going to add the butter and the milk. So all the butter went in, but all the milk went in, but none of the butter. Okay, there we go. As you can tell, I have not added eggs yet either, but I don't need to add them yet, because you need to add them in one at a time. This is not my recipe, this is a Mary Berry recipe, but I've just doubled the amount because we need to make 2 of these.
So for one loaf it would be how much?
For one loaf you would have a lot less butter and pretty much half of everything. So it'd be 100 grams of butter, 175 grams of caster sugar, 2 eggs, 2 bananas, 225 grams of self-raising flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 2 tablespoons of milk.
Mental arithmetic whilst doing manual labour.
This really hurts your hands as well because it becomes very thick very quickly. And we've still got all of this flour and sugar at the bottom. This surprisingly isn't very sweet as well. It's not crazy sweet, which is nice because I don't like particularly sweet things most of the time.
Really?
I prefer sour or salty things. I am folding at the moment to try and make sure that all the flour is in.
Much later.
4 normal eggs. And I'm just going to crack these in and then mix it so that it's not just loads of eggs in there. An egg. I want to see if I can try and do the one-handed cracking open, but I know I'm going to get shell in.
Don't do that.
Ew, listen to the noises it's making. Okay, so I caught the thing, so now I'm just going to try and go again.
Much later.
I'm happy with that. So, it's very heavy. Okay, so now we've mixed it all up and it's looking pretty good, it's smelling pretty good, and I'm happy with the consistency. We need to just bake it. However, I may or may not have forgotten to line it before, so I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So you just get your parchment paper. I have already cut mine, but you get your parchment paper and your loaf tin and go over it and double check that it's the right size. So without the parchment paper, it's just going to stick and you won't be able to get it out, which would be awful. So I'm just going to push it in. Ta-da! And just make sure that you've got a big old space to put it in. I have my spoon again, so I can just spoon it into here. We are going to be making 2 today. We normally just make 1, but we will have to do this twice. Time to start pouring it in. To begin with, I normally spoon it in, but once I get a bit more confident, I just pour it in myself. But it's a bit heavy this time, so I think I'm just going to spoon it. So you get your bowl and your tin and just scoop it in. Be careful not to get any of the batter onto the sides or else it will burn.
Rattle.
Later that same evening.
Okay, so now we've poured all of that in, we just need to put it in the oven. I'm going to put it in it needs to be in for 50 minutes. but I'm going to check it at the 45-minute mark just to make sure that it isn't overbaked. So just going to put it into the oven, or in our case the oven. Alexa, remind me in 45 minutes to check the banana tin.
Okay, I'll remind you in 45 minutes.
I've asked her to do it because I know for sure I will forget. So we'll see you then.
1 hour later.
Okay, so just getting the banana bread out now. Let's give it a check using chopstick. If it comes out clean, that means it's cooked. If it's got bits on it, it's not. We're clean, it's done. Look how good that looks. I'm actually pretty proud of that. Let's see them when they're cooled.